Hi and welcome to Python MyPy. In this lesson we're going to learn how to deal with the three data types in Python. These are integers, strings and floats. We're going to begin with the classic integer, so we're going to type in myInt and we're going to give it a whole number. So this can be any number you like, but it must not have a decimal point. The difference between an integer and a float is the presence of a decimal point. So if we go my float equals 10.5, this is then a float, not an integer. And then we have my string. My string must always be encapsulated with single quotes. And then you can type in any combination of numbers or letters you like. So for example, we can type in hello world. And if we go to the DC comic universe, we can say universe 52, and we can put in an exclamation mark. So now we have hello world 52, and we have a symbolic character as well. You can combine floats and integers together. So if we go my float int equals my int add my float, and then run the program, we'll have my float int, and we should see that it's actually turned into a float value rather than an integer value because it has that decimal point in place, which means you can happily add a float to an integer and not lose that additional data. The other data type that's very useful is a Boolean, so my bool equals true. It must be a capital T on true, otherwise this won't work. If we then run this script and type in my bool, we then receive true, or we can select false. Again, stop and run. My bool. So integers are useful when we are only ever dealing with whole numbers. Floats are useful when we're dealing with fractions of numbers. Strings are useful when we just want a string of characters. Booleans are useful when we want to flag whether or not something is true or false. For example, is this program running? True would mean yes and false means no. And we've also established that if we add a float and an integer together, it will be overwritten as a float rather than an integer. In the next lesson, we're going to start covering the idea of functions and how we can apply them to strings. Hi, if you'd like to see more content from us, please like and subscribe this channel. Thank you.